Hello everybody, this is PJ and this is 30-day LeetCode challenge with PHP level difficulty easy, and today we have another problem to solve, number 16. So remove duplicates from sorted lists. Given the head of a sorted linked list, delete all duplicates such that each element appears only once. Return the linked list sorted as well. So if you're not familiar with linked list concept, I recommend you look it up. But basically each element of this list, like here, is built from two elements. One is the data, which is the value, for example, or could be even a string, but on this occasion we have an integer, and then the next item is like a next element of the linked list. It's an interesting data structure, I would say. So I've never really used this concept, I think, from what I remember in real life. It's probably worth knowing. So for example, here we have a list like this, and we need to end up with unique list like this, and similar here. So yeah, so this is what we need to do. So each element like this is called node, and this is how the node is, how the node looks like. So it has a value and it has a next element of the list. So if that was an array, it's not an array, but if that was an array, the way you would do it would be return array unique and then head, and that should solve the problem. But this is not an array, as you may think when looking at it. It's just linked list. So let's try to approach this problem. We need to somehow eliminate all the duplication, and also what we need to do is also make sure the linking is correct. So for example, here this first element is linking, it has a value 1 and it's linking to element 2. So even if we remove that element from the list, this element would be still linking to this second element. So we need to make sure it links to this element once we have removed the second element from that list. So that's probably the biggest difficulty. Okay, let's try to approach this problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create item variable, and this is gonna be my head, and now I'm gonna be looping through. I'm gonna be looping while this item is not null, okay? Because looping through all of these, and then we're gonna end up at the last one until the item is null. So let's create variables value, and in our occasion gonna be item val, it's gonna be our value, and let's also create variable next for simplicity, and this is gonna be our element next. Okay, and also what we want to do, how we're going to eliminate this duplication. The way I would do it is I would create like a node array where I'm going to be storing all the values and checking if we already had that value, and if we had that value already before in the linked list, then we're not going to add it to the new list, we're going to be returning. Okay, and also I'm going to be storing all the new nodes in, so I'm going to be storing this linked list in an array. Okay, now so let's check if it's not in array, if the value is not in array node array, so there was no value like this before. Then we're gonna add this value to our nodes. Let's first create current node, and this is gonna be new list node according to this class, and it's gonna have value, and it's gonna have next value. For now, let's assign it to next, but because we will have to modify all these next links because of the problem I told you before. So if we remove this will be still linking to this one. So at the end, once we have all the unique elements in the linked list, then we will loop through the whole list and reassign the next value accordingly. Okay, and we're gonna add this current node as an element of this array, and then at the end the next item. Okay, so the item in the next loop is going to be basically next element of that linked list. Okay, so let me check, but I think it looks okay. What we need to do is just add this element here. Okay, I think that looks correct. So then at the end, like I said, what we need to do is just loop through these nodes again, because they are not linking correctly here. The next element of the first one is still linking to the second one, and we want to change that. So we're gonna loop through it again. So age equals 0. And now what we're gonna do is for each element, so nodes h next, we're gonna linking to the next element, so h plus 1, only for the last element. So we need to make a condition here. So if this is not the last element, okay, so if h is less than count nodes minus 1, okay, otherwise this is last element, and the next value of the last element has to be null. Okay, so let me quickly check the code again to see if that looks good. Okay, so let's try. We need to return it at the end. So we're only going to be returning first element of this nodes array, because all the other elements are linked. So for example, next element of this is it's going to has a property next, and the first one has another next, and so on until the next is null, and that's the end of the linked list. Okay, so let's try to run this code. Okay, and yeah, that seems to be working. So let's try to do it for all the examples on the left. Okay, so now this is wrong, so let's see. We still have a duplication here in 3, so let's have a look why this might be. Okay, so we need to add, what we need to do, we need to add current value to this array, so we can then check later if if we already had that value or not. So let's try again. Okay, so this is not hasn't worked again, so let's try to analyze the code. Okay, so here the next value has to link to the node, not to the next one, just to the node. Okay, let's try it now. Okay, yeah, and now it is working. Okay, and it took us about 15 minutes to solve this, which is not too bad. Okay, let's try to submit it now. Okay, and it's success, and it's faster than about 50% other PHP submissions, so I think it is okay. So it is an interesting problem to solve, definitely, especially if you've never come across a linked list. It is interesting data structure. I think that is worth knowing, so I hope you've learned something, and if you have any other ideas how this can be solved in a different way, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next challenge. Thank you very much. Bye bye.